Welcome back to the Ulduar Raid Guide. My name's Ciderhelm, I'm the administrator of TankSpot.com, and in this video I'll show you our Freya strategy. If you'd like more information or would like to learn more about downloading this movie, click more info on the movie information box on YouTube to head directly to TankSpot. At the beginning of the Freya encounter, we deal with 3 unique enemy encounters that will come over the course of 6 1-minute long spawns. The first group our raid deals with in this movie are Detonating Lashes. Detonating Lashes will frequently switch targets, so for our kill, we collapse the entire raid on top of a single area to keep them in range of AoE. Detonating Lashes, as their name suggests, will explode for AoE damage when they're killed. For this reason, we use AoE DPS on them to bring them to low health, but stop short of killing them all simultaneously. Instead, we try to kill them off individually at low health, and our healers are responsible for keeping us alive through the detonations. The second enemy we will deal with in this movie is the Ancient Conservator. While the Ancient Conservator is alive, players will be unable to attack or cast unless they are under the effect of healthy mushrooms that will spawn nearby. It is critical that the raid stay under these mushrooms until the Ancient Conservator has been slain. Conservators can cast Nature's Fury, a debuff which causes one of your raid members to deal AoE damage to players around them. This is a relatively minor amount of damage and can be raid healed if players want to stay where they are and continue DPS. The third group of enemies we will deal with are a Snaplasher, Stormlasher, and Ancient Water Spirit. These 3 enemies need to die at the same time, but due to their abilities, they should not simply be AoE down. In our raid, we divided the DPS into 2 ranged DPS groups and a single melee DPS group. We also had 1 tank dedicated to each of the targets. We placed 1 range group on the Stormlasher. This is a caster mob that deals moderate AoE damage and can be interrupted. Because of a chain lightning ability, the range stayed spread out around it. We placed a second range group on the Ancient Water Spirit. The Ancient Water Spirit charges players and knocks them back. Using ranged allowed maximum DPS time even while the Ancient Water Spirit was charging. The final enemy we had to deal with was a Snaplasher. When attacked, the Snaplasher gains a stacking 10% damage buff. This makes a Snaplasher incredibly dangerous to the tank if the debuff is not controlled. This buff wears off in about 5 seconds after it stopped attacking, so we had our tank call for melee DPS to immediately stop when the buffs grew too high. Additionally, the tank applied a stun at this time to avoid further damage while the debuff wore off. In the 10-man version of this encounter, Snaplashes are also slowed by 5% with each incoming attack. For this reason, a 10-man group can easily handle this mob by kiting it away as it's killed. The most difficult part of this group is coordinating for them all to come down together. If one is killed too early, they are healed. Make sure DPS is calling for stops when 1 or 2 of the mobs get too far ahead of the others. The encounter can begin with any of these groups, and all 3 of these groups will be used twice, making up 2 of the 6 spawns. Additionally, the same group cannot spawn twice in a row. Throughout the encounter, Freya will occasionally summon trees called Lifebinder's Gift. When these are fully grown, they will give Freya and her allies a buff that heals them. We had a mage and DPS warrior assigned to kill these trees immediately when they spawned, since they could quickly reach the target. When there wasn't another immediate target, other range would also assist on bringing these down. Freya heals herself through the encounter for 24,000 health per second in Heroic and 6,000 health per second on Normal. Though this can easily be outdamaged, Freya begins this encounter with 150 stacks of a buff called Attuned to Nature. At full stacks, this buff increases her healing by 600%. Stacks of this are removed when each of her enemies in the first 6 groups are killed, and once they're finished off, the encounter is a relatively simple burn phase. During the final phase, Freya will throw bright green seed bombs around her. The raid should move away from these immediately. This will keep the raid fairly mobile as you finish her off. Lifebinder's gifts will continue to spawn during the final phase. All ranged players should quickly switch to them and bring them down, and then get immediately back on Freya. Thanks for watching this movie. As always, feel free to ask questions or add suggestions either on YouTube or in the strategy thread on TankSpot.com. Also, TankSpot donors can download all of these movies in high definition directly from our servers. Click the second link in the movie information box to learn more.